So the other day we saw Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. Connor, what is the plot of Snake Eyes?
So you got Snake Eyes, who sees his dad die horrifically after he rolls Snake Eyes in a competition of dice against a guy who's going to kill him, some terrorist. And Snake Eyes is like a amateur boxer, and then he joins the Yakuza, and then he saves a guy from the Yakuza, but it turns out that was his plan as part of the Yakuza, because the Yakuza, which is really Cobra, kidnapped the guy who killed his dad. You tracking me? So then he double crosses the guy who he saves from the Yakuza, or Cobra, and he wants to steal the mystical stone, and the mystical stone has the power to burn people up. So he wants to steal the stone to give to Cobra so they give him his dad's killer. And then Snake Eyes trains at Ninja Academy with the guy he saved, who he's secretly double-crossing. And then he learns maybe revenge isn't everything, and that sometimes it was the whole entirety of the Cobra's corporation who killed his father, not just the sum of its parts. So he goes and he has to fight the guy and save the Sunstone. So Aiden, what did you think of G.I. Joe, or Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins?
Snake Eyes is an incredibly mixed bag, at best.
Yeah.
There are elements I like. They're pretty much when it's being a ninja movie, it's pretty good. There's definitely some strangeness in the ninja movie aspect. The action scenes can vary a bit between, like, pretty good and mediocre, kind of just seemingly at random. Although I do think that generally the action and ninja stuff is pretty decent. And unlike a lot of things, unlike a lot of American-made ninja stuff, it does seem to be making at least some kind of effort to be authentic to Japanese culture, with some weird exceptions.
Like, definitely has like an influence of Hong Kong and Japanese cinema.
The only person who speaks Japanese in this movie is a white woman. And all the Japanese characters speak English, seemingly only for the benefit of one person, which is Snake Eyes. And also, for some reason, the right-hand man of the Japanese ninja temple is a blind black man, which is a little strange, but blind black man who feeds Snake Eyes a bunch of LSD.
Yeah, they're like, Snake Eyes is the first outsider. This is very dangerous. It's like, where did this guy come from?
He's Japanese.
He's not Asian at all.
He's Japanese.
He's Japanese. He just happens to look like an African-American gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the parts of the movies that don't work are, one, what I'll call the solo parts. That is, the part where Snake Eyes gets his name is the most cliche and stupid thing I've ever seen.
My dad rolled Snake Eyes, so I call myself Snake Eyes.
The second I saw the villain guy pull out the dice, I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is going.
Let's play dice.
He's like, play dice and roll, and whatever you roll will be your son's name, and I'll kill you. Oh, you got Snake Eyes. I can't
Snake
wait
Eyes,
for
unfortunate. Nothing good has
Snake
ever
Eyes.
come from Snake Eyes.
Snake
Eyes
is
G.I.
a
Joe
powerful
origin.
name. Your son might someday call himself Snake Eyes to get revenge against me, Snake Eyes. And they do it again with Storm Shadow later, where they're like, your face is always shadowy, like a storm is cast over it, like a dark storm shadow over your mind. Shadow, storm,
Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
Had a fidget spinner in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Too bad our G.I. Joe review's down.
I think I got it up
Funny one.
finally.
Oh,
Or it
did you?
might have got re-pulled down.
I don't know. The fidget spinner's really funny. I'll find a clip of it and put it in here. Anyway, the other part that really sucks is anything that actually has to do with the G.I. Joe is terrible. That extends to Cobra as well. There's the Cobra lady Baroness shows up quite frequently, and she's awful. But the worst part is Ginger Fucks.
Ginger
Squirts, whatever the fucking redhead G.I. Joe woman is. Ginger Squirts. I don't remember the character's name. She shows up a lot. She's ungodly bad actress. But then every time she's on screen, they always have to have like references to other G.I. Joe stuff. Primarily, for whatever reason, they were too embarrassed to call the G.I. Joes the G.I. Joes. Rightfully so, because it's a terrible name. But in its place, they always call them the Joes. So they're like, I'm on official Joe business. At the end of the movie, she meets up with Snake Eyes, and she's like, your dad was the greatest Joe who ever lived. I want you to join the Joes.
She's such a horrible actress, too.
It's so bad. It's really rough to sit through. Outside of that, like, yeah, the G.I. Joe stuff is really awful, and it'd be a lot better if it wasn't here.
Then they give Snake Eyes his cool costume that looks like dog shit.
Oh, the costume looks stupid. They should have put the lips back on it. Yeah, the actual G.I. Joe stuff is awful. The action ninja stuff is pretty decent. I think the story is passable, although I think that the resolution with Storm Shadow to get Storm Shadow to be evil is a little rushed. I feel like maybe they should have done like 2 Snake Eyes movies before trying to move this into a G.I. Joe thing.
See, I don't know if like how he officially like in the cartoon and comic books and shit became Storm Shadow, but I thought the one thing that G.I. Joe movie did better was like he like killed the sensei or something. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and this one he shoots a fireball at the bad guy, and then his mom's like, fuck you, you're gone. You're out of here. And then he's like, oh, that sucks.
Now
I'm gonna go join Cobra, who I just spent the whole movie fighting.
And then after the credits scene, that must I say was the first official after the credits scene that was mostly just a commercial. I'm not talking about a commercial for like the sequel, which all the after credit scenes are. I'm talking about this being a commercial for Black Label whiskey or bourbon or whatever the fuck it is. Because she's like have a little sip of Black Label, and then she like puts it down in like the fucking advertisement thing. Then he dumps it in, and it's like a close up of him drinking it, and he's like, ah, refreshing. But you're the evil Cobra lady, and she's like, you should become an evil Cobra man. And then he's like, I
noticed there's a few close-ups of car logos too in this movie.
Oh yeah, like when fucking Snake Eyes gets in his Hyundai, it's like, okay, that's an advertisement. There's nothing impressive about this guy's Hyundai Elantra.
At the end, when Ginger Squirts shows up, and it has like the close-up of the BMW logo as she pulls up, and
yeah,
the G.I. Joe stuff.
Also, anyway, there was that awkward opening to the movie where Henry Golden's like, "Thanks for watching. We have a lot of cool stuff, cool liquor, coolest cars."
AMC stuff.
Marcus,
yeah. Marcus got it.
I'm sure that we had that intro. I'm sure it was supposed to be for like the opening day thing, special message from Henry Golden, and then whoever programmed it just forgot to take it out.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's kind of like it. Connor, what'd you think of Snake Eyes?
Yeah, I thought the Hong Kong ninja stuff was kind of cool. I like ninja movies. I like samurai movies, so it was cool to see ninja action on screen. There was a lot of over-the-top stuff, like when his fucking car gets hit like 100 times with samurai swords, and like they only miss him. But I'm like, that's some shit that would happen in like a Jackie Chan movie or something, so I'm kind of fine with it. But what bothered me, yeah, like you, was the G.I. Joe shit. Anytime it reminded me it was a G.I. Joe movie, I was like, oh. Because the people they got as the outside Joes were pretty bad, really bad actors. Both Ginger Snaps and fucking Baroness were both terrible. And then, I mean, Henry Golden's a decent actor. I thought he was good throughout. And same with the Storm Shadow guy for the most part. But these side actors were fucking horrid. They were terrible.
All of them were.
And they would be like, the Joes, we're part of Cobra, this big terrorist organization. And you want to make it serious, but it's like, I just can't take it seriously. Like, they're trying to treat Cobra like it's Al-Qaeda, and then they're like, Cobra Commander would not be pleased. It's like, dude, fuck you, this is stupid. And then, like, you have the girl with her semi-automatic crossbow and all this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, just stick with the ninja crap. Honestly, like, I would have been totally fine if they just tried to do a franchise of the,
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. It kind of reminded me of, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2, where you just shoehorn in all this extra crap. Where if you don't have context for what G.I. Joe is, or in the other case, Spider-Man, it's just going to be shit that's completely lost on you. Like, what does this lady have to do with anything? If you don't have, like, an intimate knowledge of the G.I. Joe franchise. So it was clearly baiting a cinematic universe, and that's exactly why I knew this movie would flop, and it is.
Yep.
And they put a lot to market this and stuff. They were trying to make this a big movie.
I've seen
the problem is, they try to be like, oh, this is G.I. Joe. And I think people are losing investment in even, like, Marvel movies and shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're trying to start up a new cinematic universe in 2021 and get people to invest time in this shit, and yet, like, that was the biggest problem, is you attach it to this thing so much.
Also
Just make a cool ninja movie.
I don't think G.I. Joe really has appeal anymore either.
No.
Like, general.
I think it works a lot more in, like,
The kids don't play with army toys anymore,
they
regardless.
play fucking Fortnite.
And they don't fucking give a fuck about G.I. Joe, because G.I. Joe's tacky and weird 80s shit that has no way of getting past it. And last time they tried to get past the tacky and weird 80s shit, we got Rise of Cobra, and it's a fucking awkward mess.
Right. It's hard to do. Like, Transformers has the universal appeal of being giant robots.
Yeah.
This is a series of Army Men movies.
It's a hard
I
sell.
honestly think the best thing they could have done is just taken the Snake Eyes character and tried to launch a little, like, American Ip Man out of it or some shit. Made him fight Storm Shadow, kind of say fuck the G.I. Joe lore, because first off, G.I. Joe's kind of a ridiculous name. Second off,
that's a bad name.
We were looking at, like, a more, like, violent Ronald Reagan era, everybody wants a gun type of thing when it came out, if we're looking at the times. And kids would run around with fake guns, fake shooting each other. But nowadays, the kids just play fucking Fortnite or Call of Duty. You got cooler shit that's more, either more cartoony or more realistic. You just have this awkward middle ground. And I know people like G.I. Joe, but I don't think it carries enough nostalgia to make a Marvel-like franchise. Like, how are you going? Where are you going to go? Except to you got Snake Eyes and you got G.I. Joe. Like, Snake Eyes can kind of work on his own because he's a cool ninja character, but it's not like you're going to be like Duke the movie. He's just a guy who's good with shooting people.
Ginger Squirts, Duke.
Right.
Cobra origin story.
No, I don't see how you could launch off of this. You have fucking Snake Eyes to work with. And I thought this movie was a good enough, like, Hong Kong action movie, but anything G.I. Joe related was ridiculous. The acting was good enough, except for the G.I. Joe characters. I call them the G.I. Joe characters, the ones they just haphazardly threw in. The cinematic universe bait crap was all terrible. Yeah, I mean, it was overall, I thought the movie was good enough, but what makes it mixed kind of comes down to that. And, like, I even didn't really mind, like, the giant snakes and, like, the Rock of Death, the Rock MacGuffin laser shooter.
The giant snakes were a bit much for me, but the Rock was whatever.
I mean, I was just cool with it if it was, like, a stupid Hong Kong movie, but, like, whenever it became a G.I. Joe movie, and there's, like, 30 minutes of padding, like, if this was because this movie was 2 hours, if this was an hour and a half, so just cut out the half hour of, like, Cobra and G.I. Joe crap and just make, like, it about the two rival clans, you got, like, a pretty solid enough movie.
I think the giant snakes are a bit too on the nose, given the Snake Eyes and Cobra. If it was, like, a giant tiger or something,
Throw them in the tiger
probably
cage,
not
whatever.
Roll my eyes as much at the snakes.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of just thought, whatever. It's a campy ninja movie where this guy's single-handedly fighting 30 people at once. Like, whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it could have been better if it was shorter and just cut out that G.I. Joe cinematic universe crap they tried to set up. For the most part, it was fine. So, Aiden, would you recommend G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes?
It's tough to recommend. There's definitely elements I like in there. There's a lot of elements I don't like. Don't think the average person is really going to give a shit about it either way, and I want it to flop so I don't have to see fucking Ginger Squirts the movie.
I don't think we're going to save it, buddy.
I don't think we will either, but, you know, on that ground, on the moral ground of not having to see more of this, despite this one being pretty decent, I'm going to say no. Connor, would you recommend Snake Eyes?
I kind of agree with you on it being a tough recommendation. If you want some like ninja action you can see in American theaters, which is kind of rare these days, I say go for it. But if you're like a G.I. Joe fan, it's gonna be pretty cringe. If you're a fucking normal person that doesn't have an affinity for ninja movies, you won't like it. It's not gonna appeal to you.